Hey, Legacy Builders, this is Melinda Colon, and I want to welcome you to the Legacy Builders Unleashed podcast, the go-to podcast for visionary entrepreneurs, business owners, and leaders who are ready to scale their businesses fast while leaving a lasting impact. Each episode will deliver actionable insights on marketing, business strategy, and mindset tailored to legacy builders. Whether you're scaling to your next million, refining your systems, or looking to cement your influence for generations to come, this podcast will empower you to level up and build a legacy that stands the test of time. Now let's get into today's episode. Okay, let's get started. So this is one of the promises that I have for this community is to actually record live with our podcast guests so that everybody could just experience this together, see the behind the scenes. And then if they pop in live and they have questions for you, then they can just go ahead and ask you in real time. So I thought that would be kind of fun and cool to do. So I'm just going to pull up some of the questions that you had answered in the form, but really just like when I was reading your story, I was like, man, I want to know this person. I want to know this woman. She sounds so cool. So would you mind just sharing a little bit about your story? Tell everybody who you are.
Well, first of all, Belinda, I'd like to thank you so much for inviting me here. I love Facebook groups because you get to meet the most amazing people. You never know who you're going to meet from one day to the next. And I had the opportunity to meet someone like you. I too looked at your background and said, oh, I want to be connected to her because she looks like she has some big things going on. So let's get that out the way. But my name is Dori Ray. I always identify myself as the 60-year-old grandmom. I am the proud mother of two adult daughters, Corey and Aaliyah. Corey will be 33 tomorrow, and Aaliyah is 29. And I have a beautiful grandson named Marty, who's 6 years old. I am a stay-at-home grandmom here in Philadelphia. We all share the same space here in Philadelphia. I actually live in a house that I grew up in.
Wow.
I've been in this house I haven't been here for 58 years. I returned to this house 4 years ago to take care of my sick dad who was suffering with dementia and Alzheimer's. So when he passed away in December, and his birthday was yesterday. So when he passed away in December of 2023, I actually inherited the house, and it feels good to be in the same house where my parents raised me, and now I'm raising my children. Well, not raising, they're already grown, but I'm raising my grandson here along with my daughter, and it feels really good. Just a little bit of background. I am a baby boomer. I just slid in. I just turned 60 years old in September. So we come from the generation where we did what our parents told us to do. I think we were the last generation to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, now, hold on. That's not true. That's not completely true, but I understand what you're saying.
we really were like, we didn't ask questions. I think after our generation, we had to start answering questions. But here's my parents: go to school, get a good education, parlay that with higher education if you're able, and then go get a good job. That's what they were accustomed to. So I did what I was told. I graduated from one of the top high schools in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia High School for Girls. Any girls, high girls out there, I can always give a shout out. I went on to attend Howard University in Washington, D.C., where I earned my Bachelor of Business Administration and Marketing. While there, I pledged Delta Sigma Pi Business Fraternity and Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. So I'm a sorority girl.
Wow.
I've been for almost 40 years, just celebrated my 38th anniversary in Delta. And came home with this expectation that, are you a Delta also?
I am not a Delta. I shouldn't even show that symbol. I am not a Delta. Please don't shame me.
No, that's okay. It's okay. I won't tell.
Because I know don't tell anybody.
That's okay. We're not as crazy as they think we are. So here's the deal. I came home thinking that life was going to be, I had filled all the requirements. So now it was my turn to live the American dream. I came home with a job offer, but somewhere between December when I graduated and January when I was supposed to leave, I changed my mind. I thought my father was going to lose his mind. I said, I'm not going to Tri-City, Tennessee to work for Briars because I was a Philly girl and that place looked like the backwoods of somewhere that I wasn't supposed to be. So I wound up floundering around for several years until I found my way into corporate America. Ultimately, I found my way into pharmaceutical sales.
Nice.
And I did that for about 12 years. I worked for many large pharmaceutical companies. I called on doctors. And the scary part is I taught your doctor how to prescribe medicine. That should scare the
Well,
bejesus out of you because
well,
I was a wild woman.
I have a complaint then.
I was a wild, I don't know how it came through happenstance. It came from a job
Yeah.
where I used a referral and I had just had my first child. So I needed more money. So
Wow.
I looked into
Yeah.
that. I became a homeowner. I was doing everything right. And then
Mm.
I was hit by something that I was not expecting. It's called major depression. So
Oh,
I don't know where it came from. I don't know how it got there. All I know is it showed up on my doorstep unexpected, and I didn't know what to do. And that
oh,
I call her a very nasty name, which I won't say on your podcast, but that
thank
B
you.
girl followed me
Yeah.
around. My friends and I always said depression had to be a woman because no man could ever be that smart because she's a shady, crazy little girl. But she followed me around off and on for like 20 years, and
Mm.
caused a lot of disruptions in my career. But also along the way, I found one of the biggest blessings that I could ever have come upon, and that was the entrepreneurial life.
Yeah.
And one of my cousins, I always give them their due, Pam and Vernon. If they ever see this, I love you forever for this. They introduced me to Amway, and I became a
Yeah.
network marketer. And I did network marketing for years and years and years and years until I didn't want to do it anymore. And that happened when my dad got sick. I made some money. I
Yeah.
did okay, but I never got to that glory place that I thought I was going to get with the houses and the land and the cars and the boats and the trips. I really believed in that, but I
Mm.
did understand that that was a better way to make money than trading time for dollars. I love
Oh,
the whole idea of residual income. I love the
exactly.
whole idea of connecting with people, and I love the idea of passive income. I bought into that to the point where I almost drove my father berserk because he didn't understand why I didn't want to go work for somebody's company anymore. Well, I played that all the way to the end, and then when I came back out in 2024 in
Mm.
June, I said, I
Oh,
don't want
so
to do
just
this
this
anymore.
June.
Just
Yeah.
this June.
Wow.
And I was looking for something and I was kind of lurking, we call it looky looeying around Facebook to see what other people were doing. And I ran into this thing. And it's funny you call your group the Legacy Builders. I ran into this thing called the Legacy Builder Program in digital marketing. And I
Wow.
knew that it was similar to network marketing, but
Yeah.
it was different. And
Mm.
I didn't know it at the time, but it was just what I was looking for. And since June, I have found a place where I can grow. At 60 years old, I'm learning things they didn't teach me at Howard University. They didn't teach me in the network marketing community. I'm learning things like Chat
Yep.
GPT and
Yep.
email funnels. And
Yep.
I mean, I could go on and on and on, repurposing content, getting
Yep.
paid on YouTube,
Yep.
monetizing your pages. And when I say I'm blown, I'm completely blown because I'm like, where has this been all my life? I invested
Mm.
$900 in June, and this number may not be big for a lot of people, but I've helped 9 other people so far since June find digital marketing, which has brought me just shy of $6,000. And that's just
Awesome.
in practice mode. And now I feel like I'm almost a professional. Like I'm this close to being like a master digital marketer. And I feel like I have the potential in 2025. The goal of our program is to put you in a position to earn daily pay.
Yeah.
$900 that I invested is now in 2025 going to turn into $900 a day, which whole sum of the
Yeah.
year will be over $325,000 for the year. And when you
Yes.
see this grandma, I'm doing a somersault down 95, that's me. That will be me, okay?
That was
Because
you. I saw you. That was you. Oh,
I was
okay.
practicing. So that sums up the whole story. I'm excited about life again. I
Mm.
deal with, some things like everybody, life's for me, just like everybody else. I have good days and bad days, but I am so intentional now about where I'm going and how I'm getting there and why I'm going. I love helping people. I love making money. And I can't wait till the day that I can put my grandson on a plane that he's never been on before and take him to SeaWorld. That will be the day you see the tears flow. Because
Wow.
that's one of my
Wow.
ultimate goals.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
the
gosh. You're such a beautiful person, like inside and out. I just wanted just to emphasize what you just said that really stood out to me. Intentionality. So you're right, because and I had the same rule at home, right? Go to school,
mm-hmm,
go to college, get a good job, have a white picket fence, get married, like the entire thing. And
Yes.
that was a disappointment because it was just like it was setting everybody up for this vision that is just not reality for everybody. And so it's really not intentionality. It's like intentionality for somebody else, for them to build you up to be something that they need you to be. But what you're saying and what I'm hearing you say is that you're stepping into your authenticity, even though your dad was like, I don't understand you youngins, I don't get it. You need to work for what you get. You know what I mean? But you're switching it out and you're saying, no, there's an entire new world. There's modernism, and I have to step into it because I want to change the reality for my grandchildren. And I think that's really, really
Absolutely.
beautiful. Really
My
beautiful.
daughter, who will be 33 tomorrow, I haven't even shared this with her, but she works for the IRS. And she's
Oh,
she's
girl.
she's probably one of the most creative people I know. And I watched her shrinking inside of this
Mm-hmm.
government facility, and she would call me crying because
Yeah.
it's so dated and it's so and just recently she decided to give her notice. And
Yeah.
most people would be like, oh, she's quitting her good government job. Ain't no such thing as a good government job anymore.
Nope.
They had no intentions to take her anywhere or GS, whatever. I
Yep.
said, if you have a plan, get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And if my father was still living, he would probably hang me from the ceiling to this day because they didn't know any better.
Yeah.
They didn't know they people who went to college when he was born in the 40s, they were spectacular, but times have changed. The
Yeah.
world has changed, and you have to move with the cheese, which by the way is one of my
Mm.
favorite books. And people who don't move with the cheese don't
Writing that
eat.
one down. Ooh. Hold on.
It
Move with the cheese.
it's actually a book called Who Moved My Cheese? And
Yes.
it talks about not being able to move with the cheese, and it's a very, very bad place to be.
It is a bad place to be, and to be afraid of change, because I see that a lot, as a coach, a consultant, somebody who is helping other people, create high ticket offers, get into government contracting. I see that often. It's the identity. It's something that says, I'm either not worthy, I can't do it. AI is going to replace me. And I'm like, no, this is a God-given blessing. Like, you don't have to work that hard. That is amazing.
That's
God
right.
wants rest. Like, he even rested. He wants you to rest. He doesn't want you to work as hard as your parents did. But
That's right.
but there were not many opportunities there. Like you said, they just didn't know what they didn't know. And now, good or bad, however COVID left many of us, there was opportunity there to see things that were always there, being aware. And now we can step into that and tap into it for our legacy. And you're 100% right, especially when it comes to automation, AI. Like, yes, it is scary. However, I believe in God, and I
That's
believe that
right.
he uses everything for his good. So if I stay focused on him, then I can't fail, right? Like, nothing is a failure. It is just working through it to get to it. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
you got to keep
I heard a
progressing.
guy say recently that faith takes away trauma.
Mm,
Faith helps to take, well, let me say it like this. Faith helps to take away your trauma because you can't hold on to trauma and faith at the same time. You got to be
ooh,
able to grab the faith, you got to release the trauma. It's almost like trying to have two thoughts at one time. Your brain can only hold one thought at a time. So you got to let one go to let the other one in. And
wow.
many of us are still trying to, I know for me, I was a people pleaser and
Mm,
I was a daddy pleaser. What meant so much to me in my life was to make sure that my father was proud of me. And
mm,
sometimes I made decisions based on that. And after my father passed away, as sad as I was to see him go, I also had a release. Like I no
mm,
longer, I know he's watching me from above, but I just felt like, Dad, it's time for me to do me and I don't have to make up these stories anymore. Like I used to make up stories for him, like make it seem like it was corporatey when it really wasn't, just to satisfy
mm.
him so he wouldn't be worried about me. So now I know he doesn't
Wow.
have to worry about me anymore. I'm flying like a bird that just got out of a cage. My sister and I, because she's entrepreneurial too. And we're like, oh, we're two birds flying out here like crazy. And it feels
Wow.
good. It feels amazing. It really
Oh
does.
my gosh. So let's dive into that a little bit. Like, what does it feel like?
I tell you, this whole deal with digital marketing, I have immersed myself in it, first of all, because I love learning new things. But I feel like I am an innovator. I
Mm,
feel like I am ahead of the curve because a lot of people still have not connected with the fact that the world is going digital. They
yeah.
have not noticed things like e-learning. They're not even paying attention to the signs. Like major colleges like Harvard and Columbia and St. Joe's and University of Penn are now offering courses in digital marketing and e-learning.
Right?
They're out there. That's your
Yeah.
sign. Companies are now working from home. That is e-learning. They're doing their training. If you're in a training class, you no longer go into the corporation and sit in a room. They tell you to go home
Mm,
and get in front of your computer. These
mm,
are the signs, but we're ignoring them because we're stuck and they're distracting us. Like we got distracted by the election. As disappointed as many of us were, there's still opportunity for those of us who will be that are willing to take our lives into our own hands. I tell my friends, this may not sound nice. Stop worrying so much about the White House and worry about your house. If you get your house in order, then yeah, we want to make sure we have the right person in the White House. But let's focus on getting this house in order because the people who have their house in order are not as worried about the White House. And not that we shouldn't, and not that it's not a big deal. It is a big deal, but
but
can't
it's
make
not
that a
going to
bigger
change your life.
deal. It's
Exactly.
not
It's
going to
not.
change your life overnight. You don't. Do you think who gets in office is going to automatically change what you where to work tomorrow, or how your
Right.
computer comes on, or whether you pay your bills next month? That's
Yeah.
for you to control, and you got
Yep.
to take back the control of your life. And many people don't want that responsibility, but I love it.
Ooh, okay, so we're going a little bit deep and we got 9 minutes, but I want to go deep. I really want to go deep. Do you want to
Let's
go
go
deep?
there.
Because we talk about responsibility, and I feel a responsibility to remind people that they have a responsibility because even though you might think, you know what, I'm going to go get a job because it's too hard in these in entrepreneur streets, or I'm going to get a side hustle because I can't figure out business and I want to hold on to this passion project or journey that I'm on. I want to remind everybody, I want to remind myself as well, is that we have a responsibility to fulfill our purpose.
That's right.
And so if we hide behind a paycheck and allow someone else to become the idol above God, then we are literally sinning every single day. And that is really, really like, that's truth talk. That's rough. That's tough,
I
but
couldn't
it's
have
the
said it
truth.
any better. That
It's
is the
true.
absolute truth.
So when you're seeing people like just, like, whoa, they grew so quickly, or, they're doing all these things, you're like, maybe one day, oh, it's not going to work for me because they're a certain color, they're a certain race, or they're a certain gender, or they have more money, or they got their parents, or whatever it is, whatever excuse story you're telling yourself, you still have a responsibility to fulfill your purpose. However, you need to do that.
And don't
So,
think it'll come without fear. You got to
yeah,
feel the fear and do it anyway because it's happening for
yes,
people of every gender, race, color, age. Those are the people. Don't think we don't wake up in the morning wondering how we're going to pay our bills because we have fear too, but we trust and we feel the fear and we do it anyway.
do it anyway. That's right. Because what is fear?
False
Fear is
evidence.
fear is the lack of faith. Fear is a lack of faith. So we gotta just tell fear, go ahead and sit in the back seat, put your seatbelt on. You can cry, scream, yell the entire journey. I don't care. I am going there anyway.
Going.
And it's like, but here's what responsibility does. There's consequences
Mm-hmm.
of fulfilling your responsibility. And the
Mm-hmm.
consequences in our world, consequences is always used as a negative, but it's actually it's neutral. It actually does just means the outcome of the activity. It's like reap what you sow. It's like that's what consequence means. So the consequence of fulfilling your responsibility is actually more responsibility. Everybody out here is like, well, I want to make $1 million. I want to be a billionaire. I want to have all these houses, or cars, a trip to travel, and things like that. But you have to fulfill your responsibility in order to achieve that responsibility, because that is a responsibility that you want, but you have to first accomplish this responsibility to get there.
But you said something so decent. It's like it comes with more responsibility because you know the people who lose it are the ones who get there and forget there's another level of responsibility after that. Because now you become someone who has to, whether you like it or not, you got to pull some people along with you because you can't enjoy that by yourself. You have to now come back and pay it forward or bring some people with you. Just being out there on the island saying, I got this, I got that. So what? Who
Yeah.
are you helping? Who are you mentoring? Who are
Yeah.
you praying for? Who are you, who are you inviting to your house for a meal?
Yeah.
Don't just take it and think it's just your blessing alone. He blessed us
Ooh.
to be a blessing.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't feel like that in the making, right? The scar, after the scar is healed, and that's when we want to talk about it. But in the process of like actually getting it and like getting cut, getting hurt, getting like pain, going through resentment, going through fear, and just the ups and downs of the valley, right? Um, that's when we are actually, it's kind of like he's putting armor on us. And
Mm-hmm.
so when he's putting armor on us, it's heavy. Like armor is really heavy. I don't know if like is anybody. When I was a kid, I was 17 years old, and I did a trip to the White House for to win an award, to receive an award. And there was this we left DC, and we were going to this small museum because I love museums. And there was this armor, like that was the steel armor, like that was just on the statue. And I just, I kind of like just wanted to see how heavy it was. It was extremely heavy. And I thought, oh my gosh, these people were running around with this thing, fighting, moving their arms, their legs, sitting down, standing up, like doing all of these activities. You think like that is a lot of work. And you had to carry this because that was the only way that you would be protected. What if your valley is your armor? And so like you just need the armor so that when you get to the peak of the mountain at your level, you have something you can show. And like you said, just go back, turn around and say, this is what you're getting. This is what
Mm-hmm.
it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it feels. Yes, it hurts, but after a while, the armor is not that heavy because you've built the strength, the calluses, the ability to carry that armor.
Period.
And so it's nothing. It's kind of like I'm just wearing a t-shirt,
Right,
you know?
right.
And that's the thing is like nobody wants to talk about that. And we just kind of like see someone else's mountain, someone else's valley and say, that's what we want. But then we're on our own journey. It's like us humans, we love to complicate things. And if we just simplify it and look back and say, man, how many times did I have to figure out life? How many times did I have to like create a system? How many times did I just like, you know, just say, hallelujah, thank you, Lord, for getting me through that?
Yes.
And then we
More
were like,
times than
okay,
we can
what's the
count.
next thing? It's like, no, that's what he wants you to do. He wants you to take that story, that testimony, and share that with other people behind you so that they can continue to put their armor on and they don't run away from it because it's too heavy.
Well, there's a book that tells us every day to put on the breastplate of righteousness, grab your shield of faith, and put on your helmet of salvation, and shod your feet up with the shoes of peace or something like that. There's this book out there somewhere that talks about that.
That
I
sounds
actually
good.
used to write a podcast and I did a whole series on that because you got to armor up to come out here. And then Lisa Nichols, I know you're familiar with her.
Oh, yeah.
She talks about every chance you get to go through a trial or a test, it builds muscle. So it goes
Mm.
right back to what you're saying. Those muscles that you're building while you have that armor on make it look easy when you get to the top. But you actually do every time you fall and nick your foot, or every time you fall and skin your knee, or you skin your elbows, or you bust your head, for God's sakes, you're building muscle so that armor doesn't seem so heavy because now you can take that muscle and get up that hill that you're trying to climb.
Let's
It
go.
all makes sense.
It all makes sense. Oh,
It all makes sense. I want to
yeah.
recommend a book that's
Yeah.
called Hind's Feet in High Places. It's by a young lady named Hannah Herdard. It's a very old book. It's written in allegorical form.
Ooh.
It took me 3 times reading it to even be able to get past the first paragraph, but you have to be at a certain place in your life to get it. And it talks
Mm.
about a young lady who went from the valley of fear to the mountain. And it is
Ooh.
a phenomenal, and all the things she had to go through to get there, it's almost scary.
Mm.
It's still my favorite book to this day. I've read
Wow.
it 3 times so far. It's
Okay,
amazing.
I wrote it down. I'm gonna send it out to my email subscribers. I think that's gonna be powerful. And Who Achieves, 100%. I haven't read that book in a long time, but
Yeah,
yes,
and it's a
that's
little
a good
one.
one. Yeah, yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
one.
The Heinz feed is
So
not. The
good.
Heinz feed is gonna take you some time. It's gonna
It's all
change your
right.
life though. It's gonna change your life.
Mm. Okay, so how do you help people now? Like with all of this wisdom, all of this joy, I can see just like beaming off of you. How do you help people today?
What I do today, my main thing is I teach people how to get into today's time through digital marketing. I teach you how I am now linked with a group of over 45,000 people from all over the world. All of us are learning the skills of digital marketing. My mentor is an amazing lady named Michelle O'Neill, who created this community, who was a single mom, divorced mom with 6 kids
Mm,
and 5 grandkids running a daycare out of her home, who said, no, 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 time out for that. And after she got herself focused, she got to $1 million in 22 months, and she put together a blueprint to help us learn this digital marketing. She too came from the network marketing world where she was spinning her wheels like I was. So if anyone is interested in taking their life into the digital world, I can help you get there. And I
mm,
have a website that I can send you to so you can go look at the information. And it's totally up to you because I no longer jump in inboxes. I no longer beg family and friends to do things for me. I'm out of that world. Thank you, God. And now I just give you the link. If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not because everybody's
mm.
not going to come because of
That's
all the
right.
reasons we just talked about. Now, I'll
Yep.
put it in the chat www.getpaiddailywithdory.com.
I
That
think
is
that's
my website.
okay.
And that
I think
website will take you to everything you know. It creates an email campaign where you'll get information from me on a regular basis, up to 13 emails, which we know from marketing, it takes 8 touches for someone to make a decision. So I'm excited. That's what I do primarily. And then I just love spending time with my family. My
mm,
goal is to get back to traveling and driving the car that I want because I haven't had these things in a long time. I want to get in the airplane. I haven't been on a vacation in at least 5 years because I had to take care of my
oh,
dad.
gotta go.
I
Yeah.
haven't been able to buy the clothes and the shoes. I like that kind of stuff. But you know
Yeah.
what? I'm paying my price up front. And
Mm-hmm.
then, Linda, when I take my baby to SeaWorld, I want you, if you hear the clouds rumble, that's us. Because he just said, that's all I want, my mom. I want to go to SeaWorld because he loves sea animals and he's so super intelligent. And when we get there, we're going to cause a ruckus. We might go inside the water and start swimming. So I'm excited. I have my vision board that I'm looking at across the room. I watch it as I speak. I say my affirmations. I look at my vision board every day. My office is in my little tiny bedroom that used to be my parents' bedroom. And I
Mm,
look forward to the day where I can have an office, but
yeah.
that'll come as
That'll
I pay
come.
the price up front because the
Yep.
price of success is paid up front. And
Yep.
that's where I am right now.
So amazing. Okay, so I went ahead and put the link into Facebook. It's also going to be in the show notes for the podcast. So great. Guys, reach out to Dory. This woman, she's on a mission. So you either want to get on or get off, but you don't want to miss this opportunity. This is an opportunity. Thank you so much, Dory, for being here.
No,
Thank you for
thank
being an
you so
amazing
much for
guest.
trusting me on your podcast. Thank you so much. I look forward to interacting with you more, maybe doing some more stuff together.
Yes,
Now, where are you
100%.
physically located?
I'm in Orlando, so SeaWorld is like an hour and a half away from me. Yeah, yeah, yep, I know. We might be looking at whales together. Okay,
Yeah, I think
so
so. You have to experience it with me. We're going to videotape this because this is going to be a good deal. It's going to happen soon, too, real
very
soon.
soon, very
Thank you
soon.
so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, take care. I'll see you in the next episode of Unleashed Legacy Builders.